Why is this out here?
You can at 7:30. Oh, Judge can wait. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you too, sir.
How are you this morning?
Overdressed. The other day, I thought about coming in my Longhorn. I have a really nice. Do you have like a go-to pair of like lounging pants?
Pajama pants.
Yeah, me too. That's what they are. But these are like, they're a nice burnt orange. They're a plaid though, and they've got a little Longhorn stitch right there on your hip flexor, and they're just extremely comfortable. And I started just to leave them on. Nobody sees me from the waist down. And it's not a joke. I think there's lots and lots of anchor personnel, anchor men predominantly, who wear shorts or jeans, and they wear a nice button down and a tie.
Yeah, no, it happens.
We have to dress up a little more to add some credibility to this mess.
So basically, you were hoping to wear your Walmart shopping
pajamas. Yeah, I was going to go just like I would go to the store. And folks, it is unbelievable, since you brought it up, the trashiness that you can find at a Walmart. Those, pictures you get on the internet, they're real. I see people at Walmart all the time in their jiffies.
Yeah.
And it's just trashy. I don't want to be seen out in public like that. I run for office or something someday. I can't be seen like that.
Seen in public like that. Right? We'll get to that in a minute, but we gotta do this first.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by me and Ash. It's 61 degrees in Victoria right now, but we're heading to a high of 96.
Woo, doggy.
Yeah. Calgary, get down rodeo weather.
Yeah, no, that's not happening this year.
96 degrees, folks. Gonna be hot. Yep. Gonna be hot. Celebrity hot tub. But perfectly sunny day.
Nice.
Good day for my Vinca to come out of their funk.
Yeah. Tell you what needed to come out of the funk. Idiot drivers came out of the funk this morning in the fog.
It is foggy.
No lights on.
Wade and Carter weather advisory. Foggy. Be careful.
Taking chances, cutting off vehicles, me included.
Reckless.
With no lights. Morons. Adam Daughtry checking in. Lisa Poole, Bobby Leister.
Probably over on the Country Channel right now playing a tape.
Matt Boucher, Chris Conrad. Good morning, Stephen Kidder. Sheriff Louderback is in. C.W. Bean, the Iceman is in. Marvin Mickish, happy Friday. They're all the same. They're all the same. Scott Snow, Don Posey. I think I said Steve Kidder already.
Thank you, Steve.
Larry Leahy.
Steve, what is the reference? Are you smarter than a rock? I don't know if I didn't know how to respond.
Rocks aren't very smart.
You can watch us on Magic. You can listen to us on Magic95Victoria.com. You can listen to us on Magic 95 FM in Victoria, in parts of Victoria, in a really small circle of sound.
95.9.
Yeah.
Maybe not today because of the fog. It might not be.
You can watch us, as many of you do, on Facebook, which is fun because there's some interaction and you get to see Ash, who has just given up. He's not shaving. He's not getting a haircut. He's gone full Matt McConaughey.
No, I'm showering.
He's not. It ain't working. All the way until hockey returns. Until hockey returns, and you can also watch us now on our new home on YouTube, and we highly recommend, if you haven't already, we want you to like and share the Facebook video and then go subscribe. It's free. It's not like something we have to get a grant and then contribute. No. It's free. Go subscribe to Wade and Carter on YouTube. It's your responsibility.
I'm slowly figuring that out, and I think I may get to a point where
that sums up a lot of things.
Well, yeah, it does, really does.
I'm slowly figuring that out.
So it may get to a point where the show might even be a truncated version, like when they play back football games that, and they just get to the stuff that matters.
Right.
The good stuff. And they
really
take a
they
take a 4-hour game and it's now fits in an hour window.
You could probably do our show in about 3 minutes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Huh.
Get rid of crap like this.
Could we do that? Could we come in, make the same cheese, and just do a 3-minute show?
No.
What if instead of having 10 sponsors, we had one sponsor at $1 million?
I'd take that every day.
Right? We only have, look at them, they only got one sponsor. It's $1 million. It had to be the government. Only the government would be dumb enough to throw $750,000. So the government's going to give us, City of Victoria is going to reach into their overpass fund that has money earmarked for the parks. We've gotten them to give us $750,000. Now, Ash and I, being a not-for-profit, we're going to take 70 right off the top. And then we're going to loan it out to our friends. You want 25 grand? Come on by, get some Wade and Carter money. Of course, we're going to keep 5% as an origination fee and to buy down some interest. Then when you repay it, wink, wink, we're going to loan it to someone else at a 5% origination fee, but we're not for profit because we're just going to spend the money. We're not trying to create any retained earnings or any profit.
And the city's not going to share any of that money.
And the city doesn't ever get their money back. But that's good use of city taxpayer money.
So glad.
Wade Carter's sinking fund.
So glad city council saw the light on that one.
I am too. And by the way, I don't want that to ever be misconstrued. And I know it wasn't by the people that mattered to me. I don't ever want that to be misconstrued that I'm not doing everything I can to help small business in Victoria. I'm just not trying to help small business in a losing proposition with your money. That's all. I'm not trying to take your money and lose it guaranteed in the name of philanthropy. If your government gets in the charity business, you got the wrong government. They should leave the money with you and let you be charitable.
Yeah. But so there you have it. Decided. And I'm simpler than that. I just didn't think the city needed to be in that business.
Totally agree.
So
not to mention that.
Yeah. So Christina Wise checking in. James Kurth, good morning.
So it's Friday, kind of a free form Friday. We got a couple of things. Well, we can talk NFL draft.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to, I consider a baseball legend and one of my favorite people on top of that. And then we're going to have a visit by Judge Zeller as well. So get your calls ready. 575
grab your coffee.
Snuggle up.
Joel Gomez in, Heather Monroe. See who else is in this morning.
Justice Patosky says he'll send us 500. He wants in on that investment deal. There you have it, folks.
Andy Rhea Jr., Marvin Mickish, Johnny Houghton, Monica Jost.
Tip of the week came from the Iceman from Brother Gary.
Scott Snow, which was that?
If you're having the fog up because of your COVID mask, get you some Rain-X and the fog up won't happen. Iceman knows. Iceman knows. He's a misnomer of a human being. We all run about 98.6. He always runs about 102.3. He's always got a little bit of a fever. He's just hotter than the average man. He wears glasses. So when he walks into a cooler to deal with his ice product, they want to fog up, not with Rain-X.
No. So what do you make of, we had 10 more cases yesterday announced in Victoria County.
If we could get rid of healthcare facilities, we'd be fine.
9 of them at another post-acute medical, this time on the 6th floor at Citizens Medical Center.
They call that Pam Southeast.
Yeah. So first time you kind of go, okay, this is, we're caught off guard a little bit by this thing. Really, people didn't quite understand it. Second time you're going, what the heck is going on? This is a healthcare facility. If anybody should be
guarded against.
And I don't know all the details, But I that's the question that comes to
That's
mind.
never stopped us before.
Well, no, but what's
I have the answer.
What's that?
Give me another situation. Any of you, please, Bueller, anyone. Give us another situation where one person tests positive and we test everybody in their proximity. Remember, this is not 10 people who've fallen deathly ill who are all on ventilators.
No, that's true.
These are 10 people that, oh man,
tested positive.
You tested positive. You better go home for a couple of weeks and chill out.
True.
That's all it is. They had a group of people. Give me another situation. I mean, where you think about a place like HEB, and we've talked about how nobody there has it. We don't know that. We don't test all those people, but they also don't work in immediate proximity with each other either. These nurses are all going to the same nurses,
and they're not working with sick people.
There you go. Sure. So when I look at it like that, I mean, that was when I heard about the first PAM outbreak, I was like, man, that's terrible. All those people in one spot. I picture people laid up in beds, IVs. Oh, they all felt fine.
Yeah.
Nobody even had any sickness. No. They didn't know. Some of them didn't even know how long they'd had it.
Some of them didn't know they had it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I just got caught up, I guess, in the fear mongering a little bit.
It's like herpes without a fever blister. How do you know? You don't know.
Johnny Houghton has a question. What do you think of the meat packing plant? And it says Cactus, but I think
it's Smithfield. It's actually in like South Dakota. There's
one there. There was one in Alberta.
Yeah.
That had a bunch. Actually, there's two in Alberta, and they just happen to produce.
Does that spoil that meat product, or do you?
I don't know.
Or do you, when you cook it?
Yeah, that's the question. But I think
I don't know.
There were two plants in Alberta. I think they produce about 80% of the packaged meat in Canada.
Treat
said not Cactus, Texas. There's a plant in Texas. I didn't hear about the meat.
Yes, Smithfield. Is that what it is? And it's kind of like, I don't know. Again,
didn't the Chinese buy Smithfield?
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of proximity, and there's a language barrier. They said these people are having to work side by side, and they all got it. Again, I don't know of anybody falling out up there. They were all just working. When they tested them all, they all had it. We do run into a situation where, that everybody's up in arms.
Matt Boucher has a good point. No way to do the 6 feet rule on a beef processing line.
Right.
Yeah. No, if you've ever worked in any sort of meat packing plant,
working in the coal mine,
you'll never get that smell out of your nose ever.
Bovine death.
Yeah.
Good day to be a horse, isn't
it? Unless you're in France.
I can't even imagine. Don't say that. Sheriff Louderback listens. What if he's got it on speaker and triggers out there going, Wilbur? That's not good.
No. Not at all.
You know where I went by yesterday?
Where'd you go by yesterday?
Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Let me tell you something. While I was there, they had to take the Big Daddy. Now, they've got a newer wrecker.
Big Daddy was on the back of the shirt I was wearing yesterday.
Well, they've got one. Folks, it's cool. You see a boat, and they do the aluminum works and all that. Well, on this rig, I mean, it's a big, I think this one's a Kenworth, but it's a big truck. It could be a Peterbilt. It's a big truck. And on the back where they've got about a $500,000 tow setup. I mean, it's got a boom ash. It's awesome. It's blue and bright green. It's awesome.
I haven't seen that
one. And look, on the back end, the light bar is like elliptical, and it's aluminum colored, and the arms come up off the rig and turn like that, and the light bar is suspended above the cab. It's like it's not mounted like a cop car. It's bad to the bone.
Like maximum overdrive-ish?
Like Alan, he's comfortable in any color T-shirt as long as it's black, designed this thing, and it is awesome. Well, they got a call while I was there, and a flat-bellied, a sand truck, a belly dump truck, had rolled over full of sand out at 77 and Spur 91, which is kind of that little cut through out there on the southwest side. And I mean, lickety split, boom, the big truck's smoke coming out, and off it goes. And I thought, man, this is cool. I mean, Janet took the call. And in 2 minutes, that big rig was rolling. It's like a first responder.
Did you go follow it and
no,
watch
that's
it at
against the
work?
law. I didn't do that. But Allen's Wrecker Service, they'll do the exact same thing for you, whether you're a United States postal worker or just a guy trying to get his Yugo over to Atzenhofer. 578-6300. Do we have a comment from somebody there?
No, we'll get to it after the break.
Okay.
VCS, Rocket Oilfield Services, the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer.
Curbside service. You go by today, get you an iPhone 11 in about 10 minutes, or a Samsung or an iPad or some other device, and an accessory.
Yeah. That was a question I had. Are they able to open today, given the lessening of restrictions that went into effect at 12:01 this morning?
Was that 12:01 or was that midnight last night? I don't know, but I think yes. They. What happens in that minute? Is it? Do you have to wait?
Yes.
Until it's 12:01.
Yes.
What about 12 o'clock in like 3 seconds? Can't do it then. It's okay. I went outside last night at like 11:53. Went knocking on my neighbor's door.
I think you can get ready to open at 12:01. That minute gives you time to prep. Yeah. So.
Well, they're ready. Get by and see the VCS companies. All of the Hartman communication companies. They just do it right the first time. You'll be glad that you worked with them. SCT Building Systems, same thing. It helps you to do it right the first time.
564
a building.
Yeah, 564-8864. That's the number to call.
They've done all kinds of work for all kinds of contractors. They've subbed out frame, building erection, all that for years. Now they're doing turnkey stuff. They'll do everything that you want, whether you want to go from a she shed to a barn dominium to a bricks and sticks home. You want somebody to finish out. You want to build an office inside your barn that you have now. You've gotten used to working from home. They can close that in and make an office out of it. Man cave, they can do it all. So they're not handymen. They're contractors. Give them a call, 564-8864. Chestnut Furniture Company, 100 years. Still blows my mind. 100 years in downtown Victoria, 70 at their current location. Bobby Leon, third generation. His family's been providing furniture to Victorians since 1920. It's amazing. About the year that our guest for baseball was born.
Not quite.
1920. A rangy Canadian came slumbering out of the hills with Wonder Boy, the handmade bat he had fashioned after a lightning storm.
Knocked down the maple tree.
Right?
And took away the family's syrup supply.
Exactly. The family was in the syrup business until he took the limb and made a bat.
That's all you can do in Canada.
Don't forget, folks, get by and support Chesney Furniture, One Linen Bridge, downtown.
Been there for 100 years. Been in that location
70.
for 70 of them.
Yep, you'll love it.
Phenomenal.
Is it hot in here?
Yeah, it is kind of over here. So you go do that. NFL draft, weigh in, folks. Yeah, somebody give us a ring if you watch the draft. Cowboys go get CeeDee Lamb, receiver out of Oklahoma. And here's my take on it. I know the Cowboys need help in the secondary. The Cowboys, in my opinion, have needed help in the secondary before, and their draft picks haven't really panned out. So I think they went and got a guy that can step in right away and play and make a difference and have an impact. And they don't have to wait 2, 3, 4 years for them to finally be able to play at that level and then lose them to free agency when that first contract is up.
Well, exactly. Raymond Cobb left, and this CeeDee Lamb kid will immediately step right into that slot receiver position. Yeah. And as a Longhorn, I'm really glad that he's gone from Oklahoma. But, yeah, CeeDee Lamb, good pick. I couldn't help, as I remember that offense hasn't really been our problem, I could not help but say,
well, I don't know. Didn't we lose 13-12 in a game in New England?
I wanted that Kason kid.
Yeah, he was nice. That was a nice pick. Jacksonville got him. But good morning, Wade and Carter. Hey, good. How are you?
TP, you're 10 minutes early, which begs the question, were you always one of the first players to the ballpark? Well, you're Canadian. We would expect nothing less. I'm sure you came in right on time and apologized. And Right. Unless it's your day to start. Yeah. If Nolan Ryan's not on the bus, we might wait a minute.
Just one.
But by the way, folks, we're joined by Terry Poole. You know, as of now, many of you only know Terry as the head baseball coach at University of Houston, Victoria. But if you're just a little more seasoned like I am, you remember Terry Poole as a great player for the Houston Astros for a number of years, 14, I think.
And if you're from Canada like me, you remember Terry as I think, at one point, the only Canadian in Major League Baseball. And you know,
Canada, a hotbed of talent on the baseball diamond. You know why? Because there's not very many Puerto Ricans or Dominicans in Canada. Very difficult to go up there and scout.
Yep.
Wow.
It's not bad. It's one per team in minor league baseball.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have the token Canadian.
Yeah. So before we get into an interesting article that came out from Major League Baseball yesterday, but you know, things were shut down. How disappointing was that for the spring season, for you as a coach, for the student athletes that saw their season end?
You know, and next year, when you can tell a kid, hey, you get to play baseball today, let's go. You might see a new level of excitement and fire out of those kids.
Yep.
Wow. Well, you were 63 years old. I mean, come on. Pulled a hammy on the way back to the dugout. So Ash has got a list here, and I want him to read some of the names on this list, and just really just want to have an impromptu conversation.
Yeah, because this was an interesting article that somebody had sent me yesterday, so I got a chance to look at it, and it goes through every team, and I won't go through them all, but predominantly what I found interesting, and rough math, but probably 85 to 90% of the hitters on this list, and what Major League Baseball writers did was the prettiest swing on every team in their history, and the majority of them were left-handed hitters, which I thought was interesting. And John Olerud was there for the Blue Jays. We'll start with the Canadian team that's left in the majors. Which probably, when looking at that, no argument from somebody who watched a lot of Blue Jays baseball. Your thoughts on the way that John Olerud swung the bat? Yes.
Right. Right. More Altuve.
John Olerud, Washington State Cougar as well. Just throw that out there.
Yeah, kind of. It was violent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, George Brett was on there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell you what, he was a fiery competitor. We used to make those lists of the players we'd like to have, and it always, for me at third base, it always came down to, do you want the consistent swing of George Brett at third, or do you want the just monumental power of
like Mike Schmidt?
Mike Schmidt at third. That's what it always came down to for me. Then my dad would say Brooks Robinson.
Ted Williams on the list, no surprise there, right?
Right. he never released the bat with his left hand. He swung all the way around and right past crossover, and he was all the way back around himself, hitting himself on the back with the bat, and still had both hands on the bat.
But you know what always amazed me with him? The size of his forearms and his wrists. I mean, you look at pictures of him. I mean, he makes Popeye look like olive oil.
You know,
yeah.
It was a different game because you remember that Williams got booed once, I think, at home, and literally said, "That's it. I'll never tip my cap to the fans again." And like his last at bat at home was a home run, and people were like, "Surely now on his way out, his last game," and Williams was like, "Nuts! I ain't tipping my hat to him."
Mike Trout on the list, probably the most current player on this list. No surprise. I don't
was
think
the Yankee? DiMaggio?
Don Mattingly was the Yankee.
Well, I would take DiMaggio or Mantle over Mattingly, but Mattingly had kind of like the natural swing.
But it's not. Yeah, we're not talking for that power and stuff. It's the nicest swing to watch somebody swing. So when you get to the Astros, baseball writers named Terry Poole as the prettiest swing in Astros history.
That's awesome.
How did it make you feel when you saw this, Terry? Yeah.
Wow.
So let me ask you, growing up in Canada wasn't exactly a baseball hotbed in Melville, Saskatchewan. So, I mean, who did you look to emulate a swing? Was it Rocket Richard? Was it Mo Norman?
I mean, did you just have a Mickey and sleep in a bunker?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's yeah.
He was so bent over and just slapping over him. And in your era, then after watching Carew, I saw a lot of that in Tony Gwynn. Even though Gwynn was probably had more power, but that ability to stay down, take a pitch away. Gwynn was so good. They called him Mr. 5.5 because he'd hit it between third and short just over and over and over. Right.
Yeah.
I watched a video once of Tony Gwynn visiting for about an hour with Ted Williams about the art of hitting. And Tony Gwynn was like you were talking about when you had the chance to go visit or listen to Ted Williams. He was like a kid in the candy store, man. He was just sitting there, just like, well, tell me about this. And he asked Gwynn. He said, what's your favorite pitch, son? And Tony said, well, I mean, pro, give me that fastball down the middle. I'll hit it somewhere. He said, no. He goes, as you develop, you're going to start to make your living on that inside pitch. He said, let them mess up and throw one inside, and you're going to turn on it. I was like, wow. Gwynn didn't know what to tell him. He was like, okay, that's awesome.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So we'll switch gears here. Appreciate the insight on that, and you know,
And congratulations.
That's quite an
on being
honor.
on the
Yeah, I
list.
mean, you think about it. What 60 years of Astros baseball, and you're named the prettiest swing. That's yeah.
That's pretty nice. But you know, that's great that people remember, and baseball is a game where people remember. You know, they remember where they were when certain things happened around baseball.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how, you know, and the way that the president's three-phase plan. I mean, you're not talking till phase two before sports can begin with nobody in the stands, and then you're looking at phase three or beyond before you can even add fans. It's going to be an interesting process to see how and when we can start. How has this changed up? I mean, your off season obviously started earlier. So how did this change things up? Because you can't go watch anybody as a coach and evaluate talent. How have you had to adjust to getting things done in your off season now? Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot about that part of the game.
there are 5 tools. We need all 5 tools. Rock and fire, baby. Rock and fire.
Well, we appreciate it.
That's it. We're only putting
Yeah.
7 men in the field, and we're going to have 2 DHs.
So getting back real quick to the article that said, you know, we're looking at maybe they put a fourth outfielder out there. Which position moves away? Is it the shortstop? Is it second base?
It's Democrats. We're going to have 10 players now.
Oh, okay.
Everybody bats. Everybody bats.
Which player did they suggest would be the one that would move out into the outfield? Okay, so kind of like the old rover position in fast pitch or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I play rover. I'm a rover.
So Biggio was just ahead of his time then when he transitioned from second to outfield. So
unbelievable.
All right. Well, Terry, appreciate the call. Thanks for taking time and joining us this morning. It's quite the honor to be named, and appreciate the look back on your career and your insight on some of the names on that list. It's just
I love the visits.
Fascinating.
I love to visit with you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Yes,
you
sir.
too. Have a good one.
Take care.
All right. Bye, Terry.
That was awesome. That's Terry Poole, and of course, I mean, I don't. Baseball makes me giddy. I'm a fan. I've been a fan. He was a great player.
Now I miss it. Now I miss.
He's a great guy.
But
you
know, great visit with Terry Poole.
Super nice gentleman.
Major League Baseball put out a list yesterday. Here's the prettiest swing in every team's history.
Who was the Mets swinger?
Was it
Darryl Strawberry or was it Keith Hernandez?
Let me get to the Mets here. I'm trying to get to the Mets. Because that was I'm trying to think. Darryl Strawberry.
Okay.
Yeah, no surprise there. Yeah. Vlad Guerrero was named on there as the Nationals.
What about Red Sox? Manny Ramirez?
No, it was Ted Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So,
hey, let's take a break. We're going to get Judge Zeller in here. Tell you today, I went by again yesterday. You people don't realize that I go by and see our sponsors constantly. Veracruz, because the food's fantastic.
Yeah.
Enchilada casseroles. I had a lady call yesterday, and all she wanted was carne asada. She just wanted quart containers of carne asada. Didn't want any tortillas, didn't want anything with it because she had her own tortillas. She just wanted their carne asada. So they made her a package to go.
Good for her.
And delivered it to her at the curb.
She's a smart lady.
Smart lady.
Great carne asada.
I did eat 2 flour tortillas while I was there.
Heather Monroe asked who was the Blue Jays. It was John Olerud.
Yeah.
First baseman through the glory years of the Blue Jays.
Wore the same batting helmet at the plate and at first base.
Because he had a, what was it?
Tumor, wasn't it?
Right? Yeah. So had to wear it.
Veracruz, folks. Veracruz to
go Cougs.
Get it today, or you ain't getting it until Monday. Razor IT Solutions. JP Hull will help you with your analytics. He'll help you build a website.
Since 1926.
JP Hull, since 1926. Razor will help you. Razor IT Solutions. No, actually, that's the Atzenhofer dealership since 1926. They've been Victoria's dealership. Whether you need a Cadillac, Chevy, Mitsubishi, a Mazda, if you're Canadian, they do all models, all makes and models of service. They do all makes and models
paint and body work.
Paint and body work.
They can do it all.
Get by and see them today.
White Trash Services, 550-1826. 6 counties they serve and can handle all of your trash collection needs, from weekly pickups to and here's the nice thing. If you fill your bin and you have an extra bag beside it or something, they'll pick that up as well. They're not going to be like the city and just say, well, you overfilled your bin or your flap is up, we're not dumping it. They're going to pick up the trash and be nice that way. So
family business, local family business, and great folks, great people.
Dumpsters and roll-offs available too. They've got a 15 cubic yard roll-off special. So give them a call, ask for the roll-off queen.
They got the roll-off queen.
They'll hook you up. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. We'll kind of get our last couple breaks in here because the judge is waiting. We're going to talk to the judge, take all the time we have remaining to talk with Judge Zeller. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue back open 7 days a week now.
Yeah.
So if you have any barbecue hankerings,
brisket,
get over it.
Ribs, sausage, chicken,
sausage, brisket, ribs, chicken, turkey. There we go. There was
got it all.
Meat.
Uncle Mutt's rice, green beans. The pea salad is phenomenal. Get by there and support Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Great Barn Design. Reach out to Cheryl at 920-6803. Cheryl will help you plan your next event. Whether it's a corporate event.
We're helping her business grow, by the way.
Well, if you want to have a sales meeting, if you want to have a birthday party, if you want to have, she's going to do my funeral, she promised. She said sooner rather than later, something like that.
Well, no, I think Dawn said that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. TLAT is conspiring with my trainer to split my health insurance proceeds. There's no doubt about it. I can see it. She and Michael Pena go, make him do one more set. It's unbelievable. I'm going to be the fittest dead dude ever. He looks so natural. No, he looks dead. He's dead, people.
Yeah, I've never. That's always the most awkward comment at a funeral, right?
She looks good, doesn't she? Doesn't she look good? Who did her hair? She's dead.
My great grandma passed, and somebody said that. My cousin turned to her. She doesn't look good. She's not. She's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah,
she's not here.
She'd look better if she was alive. I was like, that always stuck with me. Yep.
There you go.
The thing to say.
Which Cheryl can help you with that.
Yeah.
Extra rouge for grandma. Call her 920-6803.
Speaking of which, my beautiful wife Cheryl's in on the show.
Hi, Cheryl.
There's my lovely daughter Tyler checking in. Steve Tyler, Doug Ellisor, Rob Pupey, Callie Frommey.
Really just did Cheryl's business a great disservice. We just kind of went down a path.
Trey Molina's in. Cody Sugar, Tammy Darlene, Michael Jolly, Ryan Hopping. Good morning, everybody.
What a great group.
Yep.
And folks, thanks for tuning in on Friday. Got a treat for you. Judge Zeller is in studio, and Judge Zeller is not here for a daily briefing. He's here to talk about, I don't know, remember the good old days when we used to talk about what the judge bought Jamie for Christmas, and I got her a dishwasher. I thought it was practical.
Those days are long gone.
Those days are gone. We can't guarantee you any airtime unless you want to start just taking over, which I've seen you do. I mean, here's your microphone. Yeah, you can do.
So what do you want me to do?
We'll get you right there. We're going to social distance you a little bit.
Yeah, we got to keep a little distance right now. How are you, sir? You got your red pen. Is it budget time?
Almost. It always is for me.
Yeah, there you go. You might have to hang on to that, but we've sprayed it with Lysol today, so we're good.
With Lysol, so
you're good. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. Thank you. Good to be here.
You look thrilled to be here. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here for the final 10 minutes.
No, we'll run over if you have something you want to share.
Actually not. I was going to answer whatever questions y'all got.
575-9509. If you need a question answered about a business opening or what's going to happen, or
Chris Jansen checking in.
The judge will answer it.
So that's probably the biggest question that I've heard. What businesses can responsibly reopen and which ones are still shuttered under the governor's
that
proclamation?
Is something new at technically 12:01 this morning. I said midnight last night. The county's newest local order went into effect. The substantive changes and things within that are new is that we declared all businesses to be essential businesses, which has the effect of allowing the small businesses that drew the short end of the stick with the governor's order to reopen. Now that does not include that handful of businesses.
Hang on, caller.
That were specifically closed under the governor's executive order. Barbershops, hair salons, bars,
massage parlors, tattoo places.
All those we are outside of our control, outside of our jurisdiction, due to the way the governor wrote his order. So unfortunately, we have no leeway one way or the other with that. But there's a lot of businesses that I think will be benefited by this. You know, a small
restaurants they're still only able to do curbside or delivery to go.
It didn't affect restaurants, but you know, a small jewelry store, an antique store, the golf course, that was a hot topic a while back. There can be an attendant there now to an employee to help with things there. So most businesses, I think, were in the category of the essential, but what I saw as a unnecessary collateral damage in all this is the businesses that could effectively social distance, but that were shut out of the process. That made no sense. So this, I think, was fitting, was appropriate, and I think there are businesses now that clearly are benefiting from that.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. How are you? David Glass, welcome to the show. Okay, we'll ask him that question. Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks for calling.
I don't have earphones.
Yeah,
on.
no.
I cannot hear that. What's the question?
He asked, what if the powers that be have passed along to you, why this one's being treated so differently than the H1N1 was or Ebola?
Is there something significant that has been portrayed to you as to why, well, we've got to shut everything down when we didn't do so with Ebola and H1N1?
Why is that? I guess that's more so a medical question. I do know the response worldwide has been different. I don't recall them being, this one was clearly designated as a worldwide pandemic from the World Health Organization, a national declaration of disaster, a state declaration of disaster as well as a statewide health emergency, the first time since the early 1900s. I think, and again, that's more of a medical question, but I'll take a stab at it. Ebola, that's not new. I think there's clearly far more deadly, far more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at the charts, it's one of the ones that,
it's horrifically deadly, lethal, contagious.
But somewhat regionalized to parts of Africa.
And not new. I think the biggest thing here was this being novel, this being new, and there not being
understood
much known about it. At the same time that these models that the higher ups were using were all wrong, drastically over.
Well, and I want to make a point here, because I don't understand how this Neil Ferguson with the Imperial College of London continues to be the guy that everybody goes to when it comes to modeling. He got the mad cow disease wrong. He's gotten every infectious disease wrong from the time he started in this business, yet he's still employed by the Imperial College of London, probably because he gives them a bunch of publicity every time he gets this wrong. And they still use him to be the guy. Is it just because at some point they think he might be right?
Did you see the confused look on the judge's face?
Yeah, no, there's no good answer. I mean, it baffles me as just a common guy going, how do you keep using this guy?
If you or I were wrong that often, we would not be employed.
No, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Did you see the confused look on the judge's face when David Glass said, have the powers that be informed you? It was like, excuse me? I am the powers that be. I am the czar.
Not quite, not even close. But yeah, what we're talking about, that change has happened. And we caught some criticism over that because clearly there have been new cases, and there, obviously as of yesterday evening, there's this incident now, the outbreak at the other PAM facility. But I'm convinced that not penalizing these small businesses is appropriate. I mean, goodness, the ones that it affects aren't public health threats. Right. This change doesn't really result in a net increase to public health risk. And actually, I've said all along, as the testing increases and there's a continued focus on that, we'll see more cases. That'll continue.
Sure.
Well, I mean, that only makes sense.
2 deaths, and it's kind of like if we knew that everybody had it, we still just have 2 deaths.
And one
went in ours.
The testing, there needs to be more testing done, sure, but to whatever extent that increases and whatever the results are, the impact on the ground in our hospitals, we've been able to measure that and have been observing that, and there's that group of relative, as of yesterday, 11 folks that's still in the hospital, more now, but that's a real life barometer of the severity of the situation.
114 total cases in the county from the start of this till now that have been tested positive. 67 have recovered. We've got 45 active cases. I just want to get all the information out there so people.
45 active, and that's inclusive of the recent outbreak.
Yeah.
You're a very logical guy, and we that's kind of the yin to my yang kind of deal, where I can say this, well, that's an exaggeration. We control each other's thoughts fairly well. My question to you is this: is there any plausibility to what Trey Gowdy said the other day, He goes, I want you folks to look at what's going on. Globally is one thing, but look at the U.S. and realize that the economy was doing well. The borders were calming down. We didn't have the issues with the caravans coming. Syria had calmed down. North Korea wasn't firing missiles. We didn't have school shootings. And all of a sudden, we have a pandemic because when you never let a good catastrophe go to waste, and the Democrats are making this everything they can simply to attack Donald Trump.
I think there are definitely those who are using this for political goals, political ends. To whatever extent they, absolutely that's happening. And there are people absolutely using that for political purposes in regarding who they blame for it. Blame being cast as to who did what. Was it soon enough? Was it enough? All that. Absolutely.
And I just want to point out that Trey Gowdy actually went on Twitter the other day and said that quote was not mine.
Was not his?
No.
Okay, interesting. Attributed to
Trey. Attributed to him. Misattributed. So yeah.
Well, I mean, aside from any Gowdy or non-Gowdy quote, it's clear that this is becoming a health issue that's becoming a political issue.
Right.
I mean, that's even overshadowing the public health aspect of it.
I monitor Twitter and mostly for sports, but I monitor Twitter, and it is interesting that there are people out there. I've read their comments that are like, this president has bungled this. He did too little. He waited too long. And then you go back and look at the timeline, and he had shut down international travel, and Pelosi was going, I'm going to Chinatown.
Amid great criticism at that time.
Yeah. It's just funny how it's almost like if the mainstream media can just keep pounding it into your head, he was late. He didn't do anything.
Well, all you had to do, if you want an example of that, look at the quote he said yesterday, that they're saying now he's telling people to inject themselves with bleach, aside from, again, claiming that sunlight could kill this virus, which in laboratory studies, it showed it had an impact along with high temperatures and higher humidity, as was explained by the researcher that was at yesterday. But then he goes out and says, and I believe he's telling people to get in the sun and inject themselves with disinfectant. And what he said was, because a Columbia University study came out yesterday, or researchers said that they are looking at UVC light to potentially treat this as it does other viruses, because it's been proven effective against the common coronavirus, which causes the common cold and some flu. So he said, maybe we could do this. Maybe we can get the light, into people under their skin, subject them to it somehow. And people went, well, this guy's crazy. But they are looking into that. Columbia Research issued a statement yesterday saying they are looking at that. And then he said, maybe with the disinfectants, and I'm paraphrasing here, that, maybe we could look at something like injecting that somehow, or, something like that. That was really the basis of what he said. It was completely taken out of context. And the headline on NBC News, President telling people, suggesting that we should inject ourselves with disinfectant. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. And then when you take the transcript of what he says and you put it out there and say, no, this is what he said, people still don't believe it.
It's crazy, right?
That's the media for you.
If I go out, I'm going out tan. I'm going to go get some sun today. By the way, Judge, sun should be easy to get today. High of 96. Sunny skies all day.
Getting into summertime already.
Yes, sir.
But this is having a lot of effect. Calgary Stampede, world's greatest outdoor show, hadn't been canceled has never suffered a year off ever. A flood that impacted Calgary a month before it in 2013. They were able to get back up and going.
Those resilient Canadians.
World War II didn't stop it. I mean, nothing stopped it this year. It's shut down. They announced yesterday the Calgary Stampede, and this is huge. This is $200 and $300 million economic impact to that city. Over 1 million people visit the Stampede every year.
I heard that during the Vietnam War, Bill Clinton sold concessions at the Calgary Stampede.
He might have.
Right.
Probably bought a Coke from him one day.
Right. Exactly.
But I mean, this is, and that's a larger impact, but we're seeing it on a daily basis with the folks here, the businesses that are closed that we haven't been able to use. So, Texas, I don't know if Governor Abbott was correct on this, but he's certainly not getting the heat that Georgia's getting by basically allowing everything to open up. Gyms, tattoo parlors, all that stuff.
Well, he hasn't done that. So
that's exactly why. Yeah.
Over it. His announcement will be Monday as to what next steps there will be. I'm eager to see that. So we'll see. There's no time as to.
He hasn't, and one thing that's usually. With things like this coming from the state, and I've asked you this question before, you kind of get an idea ahead of time what might be coming. He has not tipped his hand with any of this to anybody, has he?
Not so much. I know in recent radio interviews, he's kind of indicated that the announcement would affect restaurants, would affect barbershops, hair salons. We just don't know what dates will be implemented. I would doubt that it goes into effect on Monday. I assume the announcement will be on Monday, which sets times in May that these can start phasing in. But
can you go up to 30,000 feet and kind of give us an idea of what you're anticipating happening to our tax base or to the revenue to the county, and how services and what services might be affected by that?
I think it'll have a significant impact on the revenue to the county. A big chunk of our revenue is that half a penny sales tax that we get. We've had budgeted about $9.7 million this year in 2020. I would expect that to come in significantly less than that amount. The bulk of the county's revenue is through ad valorem taxes, which won't, I think, have an immediate effect, but really what we'll see first off and immediately is that reduction in sales tax. And we're planning for that, preparing to adapt for that, but that'll have a big impact. How big? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that would be multiple millions of dollars. I mean, that's kind of what I'm anticipating.
Okay. Question, I don't know that you can answer this, and maybe it's just out there for thought. If the governor has an answer, why does he hold back releasing the information? And I think it's just prudent.
Well,
to me, it's being prudent.
Well, I think the answer is, as rapidly as this has been developing, I'd be shocked if the governor's office knows exactly what will be announced on Monday. It probably won't be in concrete until Sunday night, Monday morning, exactly what those dates, what those details will be. I'd be shocked if that's solidified at this point.
I mean,
which would be one reason why there hasn't been specifics.
Yeah, Adam Sugar checking in. I'll be honest, I felt from the get-go that, this thing might be overblown as far as the fear-mongering and the panic induced. It is very contagious. I don't take it lightly. I've got family with underlying health issues. I think my observation is we didn't give enough credit to the American people and people around the world who take these things seriously and were doing what they were told without having to be absolutely hammer-fisted to stay home. People were already doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's an over-response to a few individuals who aren't going to listen to anybody anyway, but the same folk, I mean, all you have to do is look at our crime rates. We don't have 98% of the people running around avoiding and not following our laws as it is now, right? People are prudent. People are practical. People respect other people. We overreacted because of a few people who we thought might be bad apples in this and not act accordingly.
I agree. There have been a lot of states, jurisdictions that have crossed the line, taken things too far. Of course, it's been our goal locally not to do that. I think we've had the right balance. I guess time will tell. Time will be the judge of that. But
here was the deal the way I took it. When we first started hearing about this, and it's coming here and it's coming to America, I think that the prevalent message that was one of somewhat hysteria, and it was, this virus is highly contagious.
We don't know anything about it.
And if you get it, you're going to die. That was kind of what was in the air. Look at Italy. They're all dying. There's people laying in the streets. You're going to die. It is not prudent for leadership, given that you have to basically educate the lowest common denominator, which is a huge portion of the masses, ain't very smart. You have to say, you can't say, there's a really good chance you'll get it, and 99.7% of you will live, because people will be like, I ain't getting sick, I'm going out. And then you would have everybody having it. But you have to kind of, and I thought Trump did a good job of that early on. He tried to stave off panic and the skeptical side of people. It's the people that say, well, if he got accused of that, he had to be guilty of something.
Yeah.
That's the way that works. That mentality, well, if he's telling us not to panic, I got to go buy some toilet paper. That's what happened. People freaked out. And then it got so extreme that I think, you guys were prudent. I've watched you and Dr. McNeil and even Raleigh, and it's like, it's painful because these are friends of yours that businesses are shuttered right now. And at the same time, you're trying to work within the framework of the state.
True. And I don't think the two goals need to be competing with one another. Public health,
economic health. Yeah,
absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
And then that's the part to me that's been lost on those who just absolutely buy into the medical side of this, is that they've completely discounted the economic health and how that impacts society.
Well, I think somebody did point out you can't have physical health without economic health. There's so many people that are reliant upon money that the next thing you know, people are sick because they can't work or sick because they can't get quality health care.
And it's funny because the same people that absolutely take the word of, we're going to have 2 million people dead in this country, are skeptical about a study that shows that for every 1% rise in employment, there's 14,000 deaths that are related because of suicides, despair, healthcare that goes south. I mean, all the things related to that. And yet they take that and they go, well, that can't be true. That's just a made up number.
Yeah.
Because the 2.2 wasn't.
Right. And Steve says, good morning from Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Cheryl's
You're
our
global now, brother. I mean, we're on YouTube, Facebook, that interweb thing that Al Gore gave us, and FM radio. You were here when we were in a rented conference room with nothing but Facebook.
I remember those days. Good times. Look how far you've come.
Look how far.
Half a block.
Ever since my mom started paying for the airtime, life's gotten better.
So, well, we appreciate you stopping by, Judge, taking time to help clarify some of that. I don't know that it's misinformation. I just a misunderstanding because of what's termed essential and what isn't. In my mind, everything's essential in my mind.
Tried hard to put that distinction behind us. It'll stay behind us unless the governor steps in on Monday and recalibrates things. But I don't think that'll happen. Even if he does, I think it will have been the right choice. And I'm pleased with that decision we made. And I think it was the right thing to do.
I think you did great. You guys have handled this well. You've been extremely accessible. We really just wanted to have some fun with you because your thoughts have been there for everybody every day with these briefings
we've concentrated on getting the information out. Of course, it was back late January, early February. I was bringing our epidemiologist into Commissioner's Court to give updates on this thing called Corona, something that's over there in China and is headed our way. And it was getting less attention at that time, but clearly now it's
a big deal.
Well, and now we're finding out as they test for antibodies that this thing probably was here a whole lot earlier.
Right. So, we're learning so much more about it every step of the way.
Yeah, that's been the interesting part.
The interesting is we're still 18 months to 2 years apparently away from a vaccine.
I think it'll be sooner than that.
I hope so.
I hope it's effective, unlike other vaccines for similar type of afflictions that haven't proven to be much good for anything, because boy, we can't sit here and wait 2 years of doing nothing.
Amen. Judge, thanks as always.
Everybody have a good weekend. It's
Stay
also
tuned.
emergency supply tax-free weekend, so you are able to pick up your
Stay tuned for Ralph and Brother Gary. Oh yeah, all your emergency supplies are tax-free this week
for the for the upcoming hurricane season.
So go shopping.
Yeah, there we go.
Take care, folks.
Bye, folks.
So I thought about it yesterday, Judge. I did think that's your
Corona elbow. Love you too, brother.
I thought about you yesterday when your mother put on Facebook that she had called Lieutenant Governor